for Chelsea are winning by 1-0, and I wanted to do a Chelsea video because personally I wanted them to qualify for the Champions League. But Bonepa referee Thomas Bramall, Eddie Aston Villa, and Neno. I was for me, you whip for them. Ube Su Amomo on the final match day 38. Imagine at the time that Newcastle United had a form by 1-0. And they needed even a point to qualify for the Champions League. In fact, around the 74th minute, and Abrantian and Morgan Rogers, he bought Eddie Free Alte by in the man you goalkeeper no and I now born on your foul and yet anything and about born a share. But you see, or ye born free goalkeeper no and Arsenal, or yes, so born a sha after empty pone and referee, I will say born a foul. In fact, or she go anywhere, you know, va me and check it, say either a foul and a foul because referee say answer the overboard. Now in the era of VAR, the referees ya catch no mukete say any single chance a goal scoring opportunity no who allow my situation is serious then no worry so for their who feel say yeah either foul or not subject to VAR review. And Morgan Rogers clear goal after by in the jabo ni man ebo share you know. In fact, I'm not referee no VAR me and him and the Salah a clear Aston Villa goal and near me no can kept do qualify to the Champions League. In fact, this is a game that Aston Villa season depended so much on because all the 38 matches bounce down to this very game. And do you know, say even in the first half, Emiliano Martinez and your red card because Osevia clear goal scoring opportunity at Rasmus Højlund everybody share and the red card to keep his team in the contention for the Champions League. Now 10 against 11, Villa has made all these sacrifices and then referee no Ediomwu. Now when it's out of frustration of that goal no Amade Salah you know and the 2 minutes and Amad Diallo she go Esa leading to penalty Okonya Man U they are winning game no. And now me no say do you know said they needed only a single point 1 point to Pempo to qualify. Even says I go on referee at the time they would have been leading Manchester United and Kebeti qualify for the Champions League. Now season now and come qualify for Champions League or future is dependent on certain quality players on person come do shame again some lone players on person come make you for the Champions League the kind of sikan come benya qualifying for the Champions League and in Champions League no emunyoma nyina enya no nko so Ushe Aston Villa in fact the kind of sacrifice are this season and then to this very level say we the running no the final matches last day and then referee na disallow for qualifying to the Champions League. And who say Unai Emery won say onso say onye den o we di referees dey chia dressing room. In fact say me Villa fan Thomas Bramall referee and Cameroon finish that because Bonnie or dey di omo no e bin see that because they needed one of the teams to lose in the top 5 for them to be able to qualify with either a win and answer a draw. But unfortunately, on goal difference, Newcastle 66 points, Villa 66 points. But on goal difference, 21 against 7, and a Newcastle and they are qualified. All because of the referee. At least they needed 1 point to qualify for the Champions League. They say Premier League na barrier, they be a can referees asem and me who they menka and fan Liverpool 84 points, incredible scenes. And another year because Tom Papa Nidi at the Jurgen Klopp and it was beautiful seeing Klopp in the stands again. Or here Abraham Papa Nidi and his slot. Urban the final game as a league champion. Again, Mo Salah scoring in front of him. Now Urban in some finally Trent Alexander-Arnold Urban the final game. Emotional farewell. Or no they introduce you know. Now Abraham Tiene Real Madrid. No witnessing now. No so Urban in some was very beautiful. You know, Chelsea are we need difficult game. I qualify for the Champions League. And yeah, no Manchester City are maintaining 10 after struggling since so meaning say 15 consecutive years almost Champions League. Early on with a penalty. It came good with important goals our last match day rounds. And yeah, no 15 consecutive seasons they've qualified for Champions League. Manchester City upon the struggles this season. Again, Arsenal team finishes second. 3 consecutive seasons running. Nidoma finishes second. That is good. Newcastle lost. But they've qualified to the Champions League next season. How referee Thomas Bramall?